Good afternoon to respected officials. Investigations of conduction of psychological health impact assessment process for mitigation of psychiatry and mental disorder affected workers nearby nuclear power plants. Now, in this project, I have investigated psychological health impacts. Psychology means it is mental health aspects, mental health related disasters nearby industries, especially the nuclear power plants, very dangerous alpha, beta, gamma emissions. Alpha, beta emissions nearly around beyond the permissible limits. So, the environmental health impact assessment has been shown in this particular slide. In this slide, what it shows? X-axis, Y-axis. X-axis is what is called the distance, time, and the river BOD, river DO, dissolved oxygen, river aquatic survivals, and the Y-axis is the what is called the dissolved oxygen, and the dissolved oxygen depletion take place. Depletion means reducing oxygen sac phenomena, and after a particular stage the reaeration also take place. So dissolved oxygen simultaneously increasing and decreasing phenomena is a mental health condition. The poor mental health condition means it is a dissolved oxygen is very poor, and dissolved oxygen is stable. The mental health of the workers or the river stream DO, BOD levels, they are all good condition. You see in this picture, minimum DO it is mentioned. What is a minimum DO? The dissolved oxygen is less than 2 mg per liter or even 1.5 mg per liter, as against the maximum limit of nearly around 10 mg per liter or 9 mg per liter. So how much drag is there? Stokes drag nearly around 9 to 8 mg per liter short. Dissolved oxygen, some place it is short, some place it is stable, some place it is very minimum, 2 or even 1.5 mg per liter. So fish and other aquatic organisms cannot survive there. Why? Because it is a mental health condition. The mental health of the fish get affected because it is a minimum DO. So the poisoning take place, obnoxious conditions of the fish take place. So innovations in mental health and resilience, empowering minds. Why innovations are required? Because the innovations are required in this particular PowerPoint presentation, especially the psychological health impact assessment process for mitigation of psychiatric and mental health effects of the workers nearby nuclear power plants. Because the deoxygenation, at what level deoxygenation should be controlled? Nearly around 4 to 5 mg per liter, because fish will require 4 to 5 mg per liter in water. Otherwise, the fish cannot survive. Fish toxicity take place. Similarly, human toxicity, urban toxicity, rural toxicity. Toxicity means the poisonous condition, the poor health conditions of the water, poor health conditions of the air, poor health conditions of the land degradations, etc. For example, Bhopal gas tragedy took place in 1984, December 2 and 3. As soon as the gas, poisonous gas, that is MIC, the Bhopal atmosphere, dissolved oxygen get depleted, deoxygenation. You can just see this figure. Deoxygenation shows means it is air pollution beyond the permissible limits, 2 mg per liter. 3 mg per liter, 10 mg per liter, and it is going on increasing, and re-aeration take place. After few months, it becomes stable. The dissolved oxygen becomes stable. So from the beginning, the pollution starts in Bhopal gas atmosphere, December 2 and 3. And after that, after few days or few hours, maybe around 1 month or 2 months, the dissolved oxygen becomes stable, saturation dissolved oxygen, and the re-aeration has been taking place once together, and the dissolved oxygen becomes stabilized, and the atmosphere becomes stable. Air, water, land interaction, interrelations become stable. So this way, the mental condition also of the workers, innovations are required, so that it will resilience. Resilience means to spring back to original condition of the workers. See, any mental health of the worker, if it becomes a very adverse condition, and it will again resilient back to original by means of the innovations, new approach, new method, which is also called the environmental health impact assessment, EHIA. Psychological health impact assessment. Psychological means the health conditions of the mind, how the mind works, what is the working principles of the mind, what is the quality of the mind, what is the quantity of the mind, what is the H index of the mind. So psychological health impact assessment has been proposed in this particular PowerPoint presentation as well as research work, so that the mitigation of the psychiatry as well as mental disorder affected workers nearby the nuclear power plants. I have taken nuclear power plants as case study. Why I have taken, you may ask? Because nuclear power plants, especially the Indira Gandhi nuclear power plants in our country, in India, and IG Car, and many other nuclear power plants in the world, except a few power plants, during the planning and organizational decision making itself, the organization has considerations of EHIA, Environmental Health Impact Assessment. Environmental Impact Assessment, which is a policy. In 1970, USA has a policy that EIA, Environmental Impact Assessment, is an important policy decision in all the projects and legislative action, as well as the planning and the policies, programs, national programs, collaborative programs, all should have the environmental health impact assessment, EHIA. That is environmental health. So this particular picture, what you see, is called dissolved oxygen curve. DO, dissolved oxygen curve. Why dissolved oxygen curve means the SAG means reducing phenomena. Why reducing means as soon as the environmental health deteriorated, the dissolved oxygen get depleted. Depletion means reducing, declining, or sagging, and the re-aeration will take considerable time, considerable distance. For example, BOD, biochemical oxygen demand, COD, suspended solid, nitrogen, and radioactive waste. Radioactive means everybody knows the mental health condition occur in Fukushima, Japanese nuclear disasters, almost Hiroshima, Nagasaki bomb blast disaster environment. They are all radioactive waste effects take place. Radioactive means alpha, beta, gamma, emitters. maybe some 10 becquerel per liter, 20 becquerel per liter volume, and alpha beta emitter, gamma emitter, alpha beta gamma emitters, they have very poor effects on the various organisms, especially the fish toxicity nearby the ocean, the thermal pollution, the nuclear pollution, all causes. You can see the picture here. This picture, you can just see that. So this picture is the China Nuclear Power Corporation. China Nuclear Power Corporation in Shanghai. Shanghai, this particular place is Pinshan. Pinshan Power Corporation, because here three places, eastern side and the southern side, northern side, three places is surrounded by sea. And whatever the waste discharges, they have very controllable environmental health impacts. Please remember, environmental health impacts, psychological health impacts assessment has been carried out. And the Nuclear Power Corporation, where I have visited during November 2004, Shanghai, Pinshan Power Corporation, Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 3, when it was visited by simulation. And the nuclear disasters have been perfectly mitigated. Why means the environmental health impact assessment has been carried out. The dissolved oxygen, the dissolved nitrogen in the atmosphere, sustainable development of the Nuclear Power Corporation, the development that meets the needs of the present generations without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own nuclear needs, nuclear power needs. So this is a story where I have, not story, it is a real time where I have visited Pinshan Nuclear Power Corporation, Pinshan Town, Aiyan County, Jackson, China. The real picture, it is a nuclear power plant has been investigated. It's one of the important investigation carried out by me in order to prevent the psychological health impacts of the workers, or the people working in the vicinity, or the people living in the province. Many people living nearby the province, China, they all feel or secure 100% nuclear safety, 100% nuclear safety nearby village, especially the village visited Pinshan. Pinshan is about 150 kilometers away from Shanghai. So this is a very good case study undertaken. And another important case study which I have given is the Indian chromium leather tanneries, oncological effects. That is, oncological means tumor. People living in the nearby, the chromium leather tanneries discharge chromium 3 and chromium 6 hexavalent carcinogenic substance, oncological substance, cancer production, tumor. So abnormal effects take place among the people in the vicinity. You can see this chromium 3 and chromium 6 affected workers in chromite mining in Orissa. The Orissa chromite mining, the areas which are all having affecting air pollution levels, causing large quantity of brain damage. Why brain damage only I have taken? Because the exposure of air pollution dust, water pollution in Brahmani river, and land degradation solid waste and hazardous waste, which are beyond the permissible limits, which causes the environmental health impacts. Please underline, it is not environmental impacts, which is environmental health impacts, which is directly related to the psychological impact assessment, psychological health effects of the workers, especially the mental health, poor mental health. This picture shows very clearly about the poor mental health of the workers. Deoxygenation, reaeration. Why poor mental health means? It is a deoxygenation. Very simple. The oxygen get depleted beyond the permissible limits. Permissible limits are available. 0.1 becquerel per liter, 0.6 becquerel per liter, 20 becquerel per liter. Alpha emitted, beta emission, long wave emission, short wave emission, medium wave emission, microwave emission. So all causes have the deoxygenation effects and also reaeration effects. The deoxygenation, reaeration should be ultimately sustainable. If this is not sustainable, then oxygen sag effects take place, which is one of the important phenomena called environmental health impact assessment. Environmental health impact assessment is not considered in the project planning. The project planning, organizational project planning and decision making process, especially where the nuclear power plants are brought or incorporated in various organizations and various countries, the policy must be the environmental health impacts, psychological health impacts of the workers. All should be their planning. Such planning is a sustainable planning, or called sustainable development of their country. So innovations in mental health. So this is one of the innovation, new idea, which I am put forth in this in this project, that the poor environmental health conditions causes mental health, especially the nuclear power plants or the various water pollution that causes the poor health conditions of the water, especially the lake areas, the kiln areas, various hazardous industries, solid waste, poor management, hazardous waste management, and resilience to bring back its original conditions, to bring back the original conditions. Such original conditions are not brought back, then the environmental health get affected, and the people ultimately have the poor mental health, which is very much simulated here in this particular curve, dissolved oxygen curve, DO curve, dissolved nitrogen curve, dissolved oxygen. So here it's also BOD, biochemical oxygen demand. CBOD, C means carbonaceous BOD, non-carbonaceous BOD, nitrogen BOD, phosphorus BOD, because many of the sewage treatment plants in our country, especially India, the treatment plants are not properly investigated, because the research put forth by myself, the tertiary treatments are not proper. Tertiary treatment plants are not available. The tertiary means it is a nitrogen BOD removal process, phosphorus BOD removal process. It's called tertiary treatment. The tertiary treatment causes, if the tertiary treatment in our country, there are more than 5,000 sewage treatment plants nearby Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati, Godavari. About various rivers are available in our country. So nearby the, the pollution load, where the pollution contaminates the water, especially there should be proper treatment, sewage treatment process, water pollution treatment. But the switch of those water pollution treatment do not have the tertiary treatment, that is called primary, secondary, and tertiary. Tertiary means nitrogen and phosphorus. Everybody knows nitrogen and phosphorus is a nutrient, and it is also a pollution, advanced nutrient, and its removal is must, otherwise it may cause eutrophication in atmosphere. Eutrophication means excess nitrogen, excess nutrients, that may cause the groundwater pollution, and it may cause water pollution, various waterborne disease like blue baby syndrome, nitrate poisoning, phosphate poisoning among the people. That is why this picture, it shows very clarity that radioactive waste also causes alpha, beta, gamma bone disease beyond the permissible limit of 0.1 becquerel per liter, 0.1 mg per kg in water pollution, in air pollution, 0.1 microgram per m cubed. Microgram means it is becquerel, microbecquerel per m cubed. So the mental health and the environmental public health and the nuclear disasters, they are all very important areas where especially the concern about the mental health, brain damage, mental health of the workers in the vicinity, brain damage, and the environmental radiation protection and welfare standards. IS 10,500 2012 pH says it is the 6.5 to 8.5. pH 6.9 to 8.51 is the correct water quality standard as given in the WHO, World Health Organization. See, World Health Organization standards shows that considerations of the mental health of the workers, especially the nuclear prone areas, where the pH is 6.5 to 8.5, the water quality get affected. Because 6.5 means it is a highly corrosive than 6.9, and 8.5 means it is highly alkaline as against the WHO standard 8.1, slightly alkaline, and here it is. So 6.5 to 8.5 is the Indian standard 10,500 2012 given. Alpha beta emission beyond permissible limits, nearly 10 times more than that. Chromium pollution in Orissa beyond the permissible limits, maybe around 3,000 times more than 0.1 mg per liter, maybe 3,000 ppm, parts per million. So please note this very important, the emission levels, so that the particular life cycle assessment is proposed here. LCA. LCA means life cycle assessment, right from the project to the cradle, gate, and grave, and the ecological circulations, recycle, reuse, and ISO 9000 quality management system standards, ISO 14,000 environmental management system standards, ISO 45,000 occupational health and safety standards are proposed. Already it is available in the various power plants, especially in the various industries. But these are all the various areas where the environmental health impact assessment, especially our area, psychiatry, as well as the mental health, sustainable mental health, will be maintained. Psychological impact assessment means what actually? It is the systematic identification and evaluation of the potential psychological impacts of the proposed nuclear power projects. Psychological means related to mind, the health of the mind of the people, or the air quality, or the water quality, sustainable development policies, and the plans, programs, legislative actions with respect to the physical environment, biological environment, chemical environment, radioactive environment. So this is called natural environment, natural or biophysical environment. Cultural and social economical environment means is a man-made environment. Of the total nuclear effects, neuroscience and brain disorders connected with the mind, or the way that the mind is connected with the study and check of the mind and the way people's behavior. So this explanation, especially the Queensland Power Corporation, where the nuclear power has been considered the organizational planning, sustainable development, where the sustainable development of China is exemplary, that they have mitigated the environmental health problems, psychological health problems of the proposed projects, especially the nuclear power projects. And similarly, in the chromium leather tanneries, oncological effects. And the particular slide, what it shows is the standard. The standard, how the radiation safety is maintained, radiation safety for the workers, safety for the people, nearby vicinity, nearby village people. Why? Because this particular plant has considerable impacts on the nearby villages, where villages people get affected with the radiation, unsafe radiations beyond the permissible limits. And the PAA, the psychiatrical and psychological effects, both are related. Don't think the psychological impact, if you conduct it will also have mitigation of the physiological impacts of the workers. I will show you 1 or 2 slides on physiological effects. And this is synergistic poisoning. Synergy means it is the one augmenting effects, combined effects. All the combined effects, all La Nina conditions, and the dissolved oxygen depletions, and daytime climate sensitivity factor alpha 0.5 degrees centigrade per watt per meter squared, and net radiating force 1.5 to 1.6 watt per meter squared per degree centigrade. So these are all the various considerations about the climate impact assessment. And weather impact assessment, climate and weather, both are quantitative and qualitative aspects. Now I am telling psychological effects, I am telling about the environmental health, and now I am telling about the climate impact. Sir, what it has relation? Because Paris Declaration says that all 199 countries in the world have collectively has to take steps to increase in temperature, surface temperature of the earth, right from 13.9 degrees centigrade, maybe 250 years before, and presently it is increasing 14.9 degrees centigrade, surface temperature of the earth, ocean temperature, and it may even rise to 15.5 degrees centigrade. And all the declaration says that all the countries should take necessary steps to evaluate such certain sustainable development measures, and the climate resilience, climate impacts, weather impacts have to be controlled, so that Paris Declaration survive not more than 15.2 degrees centigrade by 2020. Present it is 14.9 degrees centigrade. Greenhouse gas impacts assessments. and sustainable development, the various policies concerned to the sustainable developments, process approach models, and environmental impact assessment policies. Every country, the environmental impact assessment policies must be there. Such policies are not available in each country. Hazardous substance. What is hazardous substance? What is the pH? pH 6.9 to 8.1, pH 6.5 to 8.5. Lot of difference is there. The greenhouse gas impact assessment, the carbon footprint, the LCA, life cycle assessment, and cotton ginning process EHIA, environmental health impact assessment, has been considered. And since environmental health impact assessment has been considered, chromium toxicity has been prevented. The chromium based diseases are prevented in the air pollution atmosphere, because the workers get affected due to the air pollution problems. The newly developed rollers have mitigated greenhouse gas impacts. And the various investigations taken place for the rollers in order to mitigate the greenhouse gas impacts. The new rollers which are incorporated in cotton ginning industries, and the old rollers have considerable impacts on the environment. The sustainable policies are evaluated. Conclusions. The environmental health impact assessment has been considered in this project. Properties of the new rollers and the recommendations. Reference 1, the eco-friendly rubberized cotton fabric roller development for cotton roller jeans, Journal of Agricultural Safety and Health, published by American Society of Agricultural Biological Engineers. And Web of Science publications and citations. So thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to present my paper on investigations for the conduction of psychological health impact assessment of the nuclear power plants for the mitigation of psychiatry as well as mental health disorders affected workers nearby nuclear power plants. Thank you very much, one and all.